Let's go ahead and learn about support and resistance. Support and resistance are prices from which stock price often change the direction. A falling stock price may find support at its previous highs or its previous lows. Similarly, a rising stock price may find resistance at its previous highs. Price support and resistance, whereas the other one is pattern support and resistance. Many a times, prices find support at important levels like 100, 150, 1000, etc. Thus, price levels where prices find support are called price supports, and levels where prices find resistance are called price resistance. Mostly, these are whole numbers or important numbers like 100, maybe 500, or important psychological numbers where if you are aware of Sensex BSE index, you will see that once Sensex had a psychological resistance of 20,000. People talked whether it will be able to cross 20,000 and sustain itself above 20,000. So these numbers are psychological numbers. A newly listed stock at 20 rupees may rise higher and find difficult to penetrate the level of 50, and so on. We'll take an example. Following is an NBCC chart. It covers data from July 2014 to November 2014. Starting from July, you can see the stock surged higher but failed to penetrate the level of 500. It fell down, found support at the level of 400, started rising higher. Over a period of a month, it drifted sideways and then fell down, but found support at 400, reacted, went up, started drifting again, and then it started surging slowly towards the upside. Finally, it penetrated the resistance of 500. Once penetrated, you can see 500 started acting as a support. So the resistance turned into a support. You can see it went up, came down, tested the level of 500, then went up to 550, came down again, failed to penetrate 500, and then finally it broke out to a new high, surged up to 750, came down, found support at 650, went up to level of 750 again, consolidated for a week, finally it broke out to a new high and surged as high as 900 before finding resistance at 900, from where it started drifting below. As 750 has acted as a resistance, chances are from here on this stock might find 750 as a support. So once a resistance is penetrated, it starts acting as a support. Similarly, if a support is broken, it might start acting as a resistance. Now let's go ahead and learn about pattern support and resistance. Prices of any trading instrument tends to move in a wave-like structure, thus making price patterns. These price patterns often make peaks and valleys. These peaks and valleys later act as support or resistance for future price changes. Many a times, prices find difficulties to break through these and change direction, whereas many a times, prices break the psychological barrier and make significant price moves. Just like they find barriers at price levels, similarly, many a times they find barriers at pattern levels. Hence, it is important for a technical analyst to be aware of these price patterns and their levels. Let's take an example. This is a chart of National Aluminium covering data from June 2014 to November 2014. Starting from the left hand side, you can see that stocks went as high as 62, reacted from there but found support just above the level of 50. From here, they changed their direction. For the month of June, it drifted from 50 to 62, made a new high at 62. In the month of July, it failed to sustain the high of 62, came falling down, but found support at its previous low of 50, found support and then changed its direction, went high as 62, but found support at its top, previous pattern top, and then it started drifting sideways for half part of August. In the later half part, it fell down, but found support at its previous pattern level of 52. In the month of September, it changed its direction, broke its previous double top level of 63 and went higher to make a new high at 68. Came down, went up, broke the level of 68 but failed to sustain it and came crashing down. In the first week of October, it came as low as 54 but found support at its previous pattern low and changed its direction and drifted sideways for the most part of October, and as of November, it's still drifting sideways. So it is important to be aware of pattern levels to identify support and resistance zones.